Welcome back, Shinners. Welcome back to the Shin Dig podcast, where we get under the skin of the Trials community. My name is Tom Hutley.
And I'm Matt Pengelly.
And we have, as always, a special guest here on Trials. We've gone slightly global again.
Yes, another international guest. This is you're a hit and miss, Eirik, really. Some people know you, some people don't. All the way in the wonderful country. I've forgotten where you are now. It's all right. You're in Norway, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's in Norway. I had to just realised I'd forgotten for a second. Can we give a big round of applause for Mr. Eirik Ulltang? How's it going, bud?
It's going well. It's sunny and riding a lot lately, and it's all good.
Yeah, keeping yourself self busy there. So as I just mentioned, you're in the wonderful country of Norway. Can you give us a little bit more specific? Whereabouts in Norway? Where are you?
Actually, I just moved from Oslo, so I've been living in the capital for about 10 years, and now I'm living on the west coast of Norway, along the Hardanger fjord. So I'm looking at the fjord and the mountains and the glacier and stuff out of my window. It's quite nice.
Dream.
That view looked awesome. We got a little view of it before we started rolling. It's
Sadly, viewers couldn't see it. It was too bright. It's too much sun there. So it does look like an incredible day, mate. And I'd like to think that we'll hopefully see it for ourselves with our own eyes. So
yeah, for sure.
No,
you're all invited. Just pass the negative corona test and come.
Yes. Well, I probably might be vaccinated by then. You know, we're leading the way at the moment.
Matt's already had his first jab. So.
Yeah, had my first jab.
Oh, I thought the Shin Dig were kind of like anti-wax.
No, if it means that I can leave the country and go and ride with other riders, I'll be...
Yeah, put wherever my body, you know.
Yeah.
I don't care where or what.
Not concerned. It wouldn't even matter. That just means... So you just stick that in my arm and that means we can go anywhere. So, of course, mate.
Yeah.
Now, for people who don't know, you are one of the few trials riders who does ride trials for a living. Somehow.
Correct.
Yeah, just about. Keeping yourself
the
busy.
normal way, I guess. The normal way, doing shows.
Yeah, can you go into that a little bit, because you're not really a competition anymore, just to give you a little bit of a background about how you're still, riding your bike for a living?
Yeah, basically I think it was in 2012, I approached the opportunities that made me kind of go pro, where I could live out of the income from shows and sponsors, workshops, stuff like this. And it was kind of hard in the beginning, not so much money at the start.
Yes, I can imagine.
But eventually, after I worked really hard. I did too many shows in some years, and I kind of invested the money back into my show. And now the shows are running quite well. Even during Corona, it went quite well. And doing shows
since 2012, you said?
Yeah, so I started my shows. Yeah, because 2011 I started my show, so it's a 10 years anniversary this year actually.
Wow.
Nice.
So how do the shows look like for you now? Is it just yourself? Have you got a team? What can people expect from the Eirik show?
Yeah, what you can expect is basically we have 2 rigs now. So I have like one smaller one, kind of the original one from 2011. And then I built, over the last couple of years, I built the bigger one, which is like twice the size and new obstacles and stuff. So we kind of mix it up. And last summer, it was the first time we introduced BMX, freestyle, and parkour. So we had like some shows over the summer running all of July, 3 times a day with parkour. We even have one guy from the UK that was doing parkour for us.
Nice. Who was that?
He's called Jordan Lee.
Jordan Lee.
Yeah.
I must.
Someone's gonna know.
Someone's gonna know.
Yeah.
I feel ignorant there.
I think he's done some shows with McCaskill and stuff back in the days.
Okay. I'm only familiar with the guys like Pip and Kai and stuff. The people that done shows with me and Andre show team basically. So I know one element of that, and adding free running gives this whole nother aspect of a show, I must say. Yeah, to have that. So that's amazing. You've gone to that point. I mean, why did you feel, was that something you needed to progress in the shows? Is it something you needed to have?
I was kind of, there's like one big amusement park in Norway, like a theme park, where they kind of demanded something more than trials. Trials was too boring for them.
Okay.
It was lacking the dynamics and stuff like this. And I thought a typical formula is to add freestyle, BMX, and parkour like everyone else is doing.
Anything extreme, I get it. You know, they're sort of here. There's a bike. There's someone doing mad tricks that they obviously looks super impressive.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like especially when Jordan, the stuff he can do is just, it blows my mind. So,
and it takes
really
the element of you being center of attention. There's a lot of pressure when it's just you, right? You know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And also like bringing in the backflips with the BMX and freestyle guys finally.
Yeah, so you don't have to do them.
Yeah, no, all the kids in the crowd just shouting backflip every show. And
it's the classic line.
We can't do them.
Yeah, no, it's that classic line. And so we'll go a bit further back then. As you say now, you started in 2012, you know, pushing to make it your full-time. Let's go back to where it all began, Eirik. When and how did you think, oh, cool, I can ride a bike with no seat? What was your kind of journey into starting up?
The funny thing is that I kind of started doing more riding than the average guy in my class at school, and I think I was doing trials before I knew that it was trials. I kind of just eased into it by just riding my bike in the woods, in the streets, on jumps, everything. And then I found the rocks and the ledges and stuff like this the most fun part. And then one guy moved into the flat in our house, and he introduced me for trials. He had some Hans Ray videos. And also funny part is that my best friend Joachim, which we grew up together before my parents moved to another part of the country, he also started doing trials at the same time, separately.
In different places.
And we kind of, in different places, like 7 hours apart. And we just called each other like every week, talked for 1 hour about trials and stuff like this. And I think I got my first trials bike in 2003. Before that, we just modified the mountain bikes and stuff. Yeah.
You rode with what you had. So that's interesting. That actually explains why I know you and Joachim have very good relationship. There's a very good friendship. I've spent time with both of you, and whether that's drinking or on the bike or anything. I didn't realize that you didn't. So you guys were friends and very close, even in different countries.
Yeah, but not Joachim Newman. It's another Joachim.
Oh right.
I thought it might have been that, by the way.
I was just checking. I was just like, right, okay.
Yeah. He's from Norway, yeah.
But that way, you guys themselves, you were pushing each other despite being in different places.
Yeah, we met each other in the holidays, and we spent like weeks together in the summer, and and also we kind of grew a community around where I live now. We had like 25 kids at the club. We were like all kids, like the coaches were kids, and like I think the oldest guy were 13 years old or something, 15 maybe. And we kind of ran the club.
So it was an official
some of the
club,
guys,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, not very official, but kind of official. And some of the riders are still riding. Like I ride with some of the like original OG riders from back in the days.
Oh, see, this is what I'm saying. Like we never had those clubs. This word club, this word coach.
That's what I think's weird. Like, because when we spoke with Joachim on, obviously from Sweden, but like same sort of thing. They had a club. So I don't know what is the idea of like having clubs. Like, and like you say, it wasn't like it's official because you're meeting with people. No. But there's no one very old.
Yeah. No, it was more like a crew. But I think there was
a gang
kind of club that some of the parents organized or something. But we basically just had our club like the Trials Arena, where we had some concrete and rocks and tires and stuff, and we actually had more or less a Trials Arena here in the Hardanger region since 2003. 4 or 5. I can't remember. Yeah.
So that's a long time since. Do you see what I mean? We've only had parks.
Yeah, it just seems to be so much more encouraged. Like, they've gone, well, what are the kids doing? Right, we need to do everything we can to let the kids do what they want to do.
But in the UK, you run the parks differently because it's much more private.
Correct.
Or as I
I mean, and
this is the
2 or 3. I can put all the trials parks on one hand in this country.
Yeah.
I know we're not big.
It's whoever's got enough space and kind of has the dedication, balls, time, and effort.
Generally,
to
those
do it.
people who are building them and making them, their family is breathing trials.
Yeah.
Whether their kids are high-level riders or the kids are just passionate about it.
And they have to do it for the love, because obviously there's not much to it, or they have other avenues as well. You look at Radical Bikes, they've got dirt jumps as well. If they were just trials, then
Charlie
they would have
Rolls'
shut years ago.
Bike Academy, he needed his parents were so supportive over him in his entire riding that they built him a training spot, and they were like, well, hang on a minute, we'll just let the other riders come here as well. So it's that kind of whole different approaches to what you guys have had out there, and how you're sort of starting with a group of riders. I know for some of us, it was just like me and a mate on a curb, and we would only learn from YouTube. It was like self-taught, a very sort of self-taught sport, which is why I feel all these different styles and different moves breathe from that, because there might not be or wrong or right answer. So you started in 2003, you mentioned now, Eirik. Now we're getting deeper into how long have you been riding?
Can you not do the maths?
No, I don't.
I would say,
I'm just thinking now.
That's 18.
How old are you is what I should be saying.
Yeah. So I started in 2003, and we are in 2021 now. So I would say it's like about 12 years. Isn't that correct?
How old were you started is what I meant to say, mate. I meant to say how old were you started, and then how old you are now.
I'm born in 90, so I was 13 years old. But I kind of regarded myself as a trials rider from when I was 10 years old. I was going to be a professional trials rider when I was 10.
Wow.
See,
what kind of gave you that outlook? Because to know to do anything
Hans Ray.
But when you say you knew you was going to be professional, it's not like, oh, I'm going to be a good trials rider. You already knew that, because the word professional, obviously,
I want to get paid.
I want to get paid to do this. So
yeah.
How did that look when you was 10 years old? What did you foresee?
I just wanted to ride my bike. That was the thing. I just wanted to ride my bike, not have any other work and stuff like this. And watching the Hans Ray videos, I had one VHS that I was watching every afternoon. And I just wanted to be a professional rider.
Back when you had to rewind the VHS just to watch it again.
Yeah.
The kids these days will never know, will they?
Mate.
I remember just watch it all the way through. Oh, is it rewound? No, you can't watch it. You have to rewind it.
First I had to watch one of half of part of a music video that was after the Hans Ray video on the same VHS.
Do you remember what video that was specifically then, Eirik? Which
I think it was something with a rose, the wild rose or something.
If anyone knows what that is, or can get hold of some, old Hans Ray, that would be interesting to see, because I definitely haven't seen enough Hans Ray videos myself, and I bet you.
Oh, the Hans Ray video, that was just one feature documentary kind of thing, that kind of like a mashup of all his.
Oh things. Yeah. Just
like the Hans Norway Ray video, I think it's called.
Yep.
Oh, I might see. I have to have a look at that one. Well, we've got to get him on as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Jamaica, a little bit of California. It's a little bit of everything in that video.
Well, did you know how to approach it then? When you were saying you already decided, you're like, yes, I'm going to do it professionally. Did you know, I have to do shows, or I have to get sponsored, or did you have a good idea, or you were just like, no, that's what I want to get to?
No, I don't think I had any good idea. And the most important thing I was lacking was the perspective of my level and how much training I had to do. So I was I believed I was riding a lot, but in the winters I was not touching the bike for 6 months, and then we were riding in the summer, and I never kind of approached the sport as an elite sport, but more like a lifestyle sport. you know.
Yeah.
So I never practiced enough before I was like maybe 18 years old or 19 years old. That was when I started to doing more like, I'm gonna get good at this sport. Before that, I was just riding sometimes.
Well, yeah, for the fun of it, I suppose, right? There wasn't that pressure on there to really progress and push yourself.
So we found out about how you, of course, got into riding through clubs, starting quite at a young age. You said at 10, you knew you was going to be a professional trials rider. You've alluded to the fact that you do, of course, your shows and things. What does riding look like to you when you're not in shows? You've competed in the past, but do you compete still now, or would you still compete again in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I will still compete. Like last year, I didn't compete anything, obviously, and I didn't feel it was right to try to go to these small competitions around Europe. But I'm planning to do the World Cup this year, and we're planning to do some Norwegian Cups and Norwegian Championships. I have this kind of goal of getting 10 consecutive Norwegian Championship titles, and I'm at number 6.
I was about to say, you've got 4 more to go, mate. So you're past halfway. That's fantastic.
And I had to add 1 more year to my career because of COVID, If not, I'm trying to get granted like to do the 2020 championship this year and the 2021. So I can count two.
Retrospectively.
Yeah, retrospectively.
I've seen some other sports that have done this, like in weightlifting and other sports. They do
just
the 2020 this year.
So what do they do?
I thought about that. That's a really good point, mate.
So how do they do that? Have they they've just done 2020 again in 2021, or they've just gone, oh, this person would have won it?
I don't know. They just like put the title of the competition and it says 2020 and the winner is the 2020
I wonder
champion.
if they're trying to squeeze stuff into 2 years. Like if you could get a competition done like 2 within 12 months, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, like one like in January and one towards the end of the year.
Imagine the same competition and you get 2 titles in the same competition.
Yeah.
That 2 for 1,
Yeah, we'll give you the title for both years,
Yeah.
Because I wonder, I guess
and
maybe
next year
trials
as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they just repeat the sections again. They just go, right, that's competition 1 done, now the second one.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
yeah, but getting back to your question, it's like I ride kind of competitive. The style of my riding, like the arena we have, is more like rocks with spaces in between them, like typical UCI World Cup sections.
Yeah.
So I just practice techniques and try to better my jumps, try to better my balance and technical abilities and like precision and stuff. But I always had like kind of the fun part in my riding as well. It's like when you see some of the top riders in the World Cup, they can't do like a tire tap. And when they do, you have to like pull out your eyes because it looks so bad. It's like I never wanted to become like a rider that could only do like one part of riding. Even though I'm not very good at the kind of the street trials part, I just do whatever that suits me. And
yeah, stick to what we only stick to stuff that we ourselves.
Well, I don't know. I think when you go out, you try and do every move that you can on something, and I think that's like what you're saying, like to kind of address like your weaknesses and go over everything rather than just what you know, really.
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, like I mean, put yourself in an uncomfortable position, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
Just the point being.
Yeah, or put yourself in an uncomfortable position, and you're gonna keep the level you had last year. That's how I feel about it. It's like all the time trying to catch up,
Yeah.
And like I did this rock first try last year, and I had to do it like in 3 tries this year, And then you do all this stuff around the arena and all this stuff in the street spot and stuff, and things fluctuate all the time,
we can definitely relate to
mine
that.
It's rather than like 1 year ago, it's like 10 years ago I did that. Like
I know the feeling. It's like sure. I did this rock a couple of years ago. It was in 2012.
You're like, what?
Yeah, looking back, like, I've done. That's the problem, because you're like, I've done that before, and for whatever reason, that means you can do it again every time. Well, no, there's a level of consistency involved, and if you're not, riding so consistent. That was one thing I wanted to. What's your day-to-day looking like at the moment, Eirik? Are you riding, every day if you can, or you're like, no, a few times a week, and then I'm exercising? What's your normal day-to-day like?
I'm actually been trying to do like an alternating between the gym and the bike lately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 3 times a week in the gym and 3 times a week on the bike. But I've been kind of highly motivated for the bike and low motivation for the gym lately.
Yeah.
So I've been doing more riding. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the better
I've been doing more
dynamic to
riding.
have. Yeah,
it is a better. I mean, listen. Most of the time, I say that because I'm like, oh, I'm working out now, or I'm doing some weights, or whatever. I'm doing that to just better myself and feel good. And if it makes me better on my bike, great. But the element of being like, well, actually, I want to improve on the riding. I'll just ride. Like as much. I do understand the gym is still important. Strength training is still important. It will help that. But if you can get out on the bike, it's probably the best training you can do.
Well,
right?
it's number one, really, isn't it? If that's what the sport that we're competing for. So.
Highly specific training, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think the Europeans, you call it, I'm going out riding. Other people are like, I'm going out training. What would you call it, Eirik? What would you say?
I actually hate the word training, so I normally use riding. But in the end, it's just like rhetorical. It is the same thing.
Yeah.
Just call it something different.
Yeah.
As long as you don't call it trainings, it's fine for me.
I mean, training sounds too serious. A little bit,
yeah.
I would say. So
I think it changes the motivation. I think the words are quite important with anything in life that you do. Words then become, or actions become words.
That's a good point. I mean, if you're saying training, it may have not necessarily a negative effect, but it sounds like there's got to have
some sort of outcome to it.
It sounds tiring.
Whereas a ride is like, I'm just going to go for a casual ride.
It does sound a little bit more, fun. And for those who don't know, Eirik, what bike are you riding at the moment? Can you tell us a bit about the machine beneath the legs?
Yeah, at the moment I'm riding the Clean K 1.2, last year's carbon frame.
Last year's frame, yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to try this year's eventually. I think I will get it in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of happy with that bike, though. Carbon fiber and my style of riding has some.
I was going to ask, how are you finding the carbon? Is that your first carbon frame?
Yeah, for sure. My first carbon frame on a trial bike, and I have so many scratches in the carbon fiber now.
I mean, you're not afraid to give it a go, mate. I've always loved your style and level, being like, oh, let's just try this and go for it.
Yeah, I have a new one in my closet, so I can find a new frame if I break it. So I just I never want to be careful when I ride, and I don't want to put too much protection on my frame to avoid scratches and stuff. You ride the bike until it's dead, and then you replace it.
Yeah, you got to use it. It's like when people put cases on their iPhones and stuff, and it's like you're going to use it.
Carbon's really coming through now. Like you've just said, like you've got your first carbon. Even Andre now has got his his carbon bike with the Maestro. Yeah. So it's really taking over.
Are you a carbon convert? Would you ever go back to an aluminium
that was the question.
Frame?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like, I remember I spoke to Kenny, and it's like when he was sponsored by Clean the first time, it's like, I'm never going back to carbon. But then he got the new sponsorship deal, and he was riding aluminium the next year. So
yeah,
I would say that I think trials is where you have to make bikes in carbon. You can't go back now. So I think it's hard to get into the sport if you want to be a new brand, new trials bike brand, and you want to be like high level. You need to provide carbon bikes now. And I would say that I have no problems going back to aluminium. I think it would be okay, but I like carbon. I like having a sub 8 kilo bike, and
yeah, especially for a 26, because it's basically now I've gathered it's like the 26 stuff is like how light the mods were, maybe even lighter. But I always find it like scary light. I don't feel that. It doesn't feel that solid. I mean, it is solid, but Perhaps I haven't given carbon
but it's not like 2009 light, because that was the worst years, like between 2007 and 2010 or whatever it was. Like everyone were riding like this single ply tires that got punctures every move, and it was just about weight, and people drilled their bikes. And I remember I had like one Continental tire, like Slayer or whatever the name was, and I had like 10 punctures in one ride, and I was still convinced that I have to ride this tire because it's just 500 grams, you know.
Yeah, that's the problem though, right? You're just like, oh, add a 500 gram tire. It's like, actually, I'll just have one that's a kilogram and get one puncture or none. Where does
not to mention my Echo Hi-Fi frame at 2 kilos. So I was putting all these light components on my bike, but still my frame was 2 kilos.
The frame was crap, yeah.
That's classic. Just like, you know, like carbon wheels on a steel frame or something. Oh. Can you imagine?
Basically, yeah. Or like being like 110 kilos body weight and riding in a carbon bike.
Yeah,
very much so.
And for somebody that can't see, you've got lovely backing for some well-known brands and companies. Who have you got supporting you sponsorship-wise at the moment, Eirik? Who's kind of supporting you or has done through your career? You want to give us a little bit of a journey on that?
Yeah, it all started with Buff, you know, the headwear company, like the
I do remember. I think I still have. Yes, Buff. I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, they are everywhere. Buff and La Sportiva, the shoe company from Italy, the Norwegian dealer, distributor, sponsored me like the first real sponsorship, where I could like get a trailer, could get a car, could like make the rig and stuff like this. So that was the beginning in 2011. And in 2014, I got sponsored by Peugeot, and I still am, and it's the best partner ever. And we are. Amazing. I'm now on my 4th contract, I think. For 3 new years, I'm gonna have like a 10 years anniversary, and I'm really stoked on that one. And
so they've been very much supportive of your sort of delivering the shows and stuff. I see that they've given you a van to contribute towards the shows and all that, and that's sort of helped you push it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like without the vans, it would not be possible to do the shows. I think like they are such an important part of the shows. And even it's my daily driver, you know, to the training and riding and everything, you know.
Chuck the bikes in the back and off you go, you know.
So I've been lucky to have support from many great companies, but it's like Peugeot is the one that always stands there and always have my back.
They're a huge, you know, company to give you that support, and it's nice to know that, you know, companies like that are supportive of something so niche.
Well, and how consistent they've been, and even like you say, to sign again, you know, the support through a lot of companies can make excuses because of coronavirus, because of certain things, or how niche the riding is. But I think it must be showing how well you're putting together your shows and pushing those, because they wouldn't be doing it
exactly
if it was not worth their time.
They're clearly happy. And what did it look like for you then last year for 2020 pandemic? I think you maybe have said earlier you did do some shows. Did you do any shows last year?
Yeah. Okay. We did the parkour BMX thing for the first time last year, and we got in touch with this amusement park at the beginning of the year. They contacted us, and it's like, we're looking to have some kind of entertainment for our guests when they're not doing the roller coasters and stuff like this. And it got kind of halted all the way, like we have to wait. But in the end, we got a contract with them, and we did I think 96 shows.
Wow, because I only from experience, every show last year for us was cancelled. I didn't do any. I didn't do one at all.
Yeah, I did
had the
January.
First one come through this year, end of May, and so far that's it. Like in comparison, over the last few years, it's just there's like shows are non-existent here in the UK. So it's so encouraging to hear that even last year you did nearly 100 shows in 2020.
And that was obviously
I did more, you know, because we had some shows in September and October.
Yeah.
But before that, I had one in January, and then a whole lot in in July and a little bit in August, and then we had a couple ones in September, October, and after that it's been dead. It's been nothing. And now I'm starting to get some contracts for June and August and September. It's starting to come a few shows now, but it's nothing compared to previous years. It's slow.
It's definitely changing then. The way that the entertainment industry has been changing because of this, you know. And we wanted to go a little bit back now. We've seen you've been contributing to the trials community in many ways with your shows and competitions. But you also run what I believe now is the only trials magazine online.
Like a news outlet. Yeah.
Like trials news, which is a big important factor in the sports missing. It's called Bashguardian. Is that correct? Do you want to let's just go a little bit into that online mag?
Yeah. It started a couple of years back. I had some ideas. I wanted to. There's never been a real trials magazine in trials since like Section 7 or whatever. It's been like in French, and it's been designed in Front Page 2001, and you know it's been like it's all been a mess. And I just wanted to have like a plain high quality magazine. I'm really still only on quality, so it's not being updated as much as I'd like, but it's just everything I put out has to be like good quality. Yeah. And I just want to have like a magazine that unites all the disciplines of trials. It's not for competition, it's not for street, it's just for trials, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't want to distinguish too much between the disciplines and the communities and the styles. And so I just try to cover everything. And it's been going quite well. I made quite a lot of articles, I think. But
yeah, well, it's going. If you haven't yet seen it, guys, do type in Bashguardian. Make sure you are following them on Instagram. I think you're touching, the articles are perfect, Eirik, too. You know, you're touching base on things that do matter. And I was going to say, it looks like you're pushing the quality rather than the quantity there, which is fantastic. You know, some of the articles.
Well, I think it's important. It's another outlet for people to get their kind of trials fix. You know, not everyone's got the time to sit down and watch a video, maybe listen to these podcasts. So anything like that, you know, and as you mentioned, there's definitely a gap for it because no one else does this kind of thing. So I think it's great, man.
Yeah, and I feel the distance between the kind of comp only riders and the just like recreational riders in the streets and the street trials riders. It's a huge gap between all these communities now. And I wanted to have like one page where we can just unite them all.
I think that's important. I think we're trying to do that ourselves too.
Yeah,
definitely trying to reunite anything, anyone that has got pedals and a shin, basically.
Well, we've pulled a lot of comp riders out to the streets. I say a lot. It's Adam and Charlie Rolls.
Yeah,
but
you know.
Now we've got to pull all our street rider friends back into the comps. So
we're trying, you know. Round. And FXN are doing sort of competitions on this end, and they're getting some of the street riders to get involved in competitions. I mean, most of them hate it, but for street riders, I think it's a really good way in for progression.
But it's all going in the right direction. I think this year is the year for trials for that, for everything to kind of link together in that way.
Yeah. And
I think we're in the same boat. We're kind of trying to catch the same spirit. It's like I was actually going to call the magazine Basher Magazine. You know,
I do like that.
But it was too it looked too much like Thrasher. But I like Bashguardian. It's like about abusing your bike. You know, it's not like about the perfect tights and neon red clothing kind of riding. You know, it's like
the Power Ranger outfits and lycra and stuff.
So it's the spirit of trials as I used to know it, and where people don't wear protection on their stem.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
The raw edge to trials, you know, like it is like Bashguardian and.
Well, I love the name. I wanted to mention that. I mean, I'm a sucker for a play on words, like a pun. You know, Bashguardian. It's quite clear what it is in the name to me.
Trolls. A funny thing is, like 2 days after I registered the domain, I was going to make the Instagram, and there's another guy that has the Bashguardian Instagram name.
Who is
He's
this?
a guy that he kind of takes photos of celebrities at parties.
Oh, so he...
And he was no way going to give me the username. So that's why the Instagram is Bashguardians and everything else is Bashguardian.
Well, I like that because it's part of the... That feels like you're part of the community, because I'm following the Bashguardians.
Yeah,
a little bit. So I
would like to have the other one, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's posted one picture so far, and he has like 1 follower, and that's me. So it's like no point of him having the username.
You have no idea either. I wanted the Shin Dig, okay, on our Instagram. There's another story of that. Yeah, there's a guy who hasn't posted for nearly 10 years. There's 4 posts, and I messaged him like, can you sell me? I'll give you money. Yeah. Like, I'll pay for the actual username. He just probably deleted
logged
Instagram.
out. What's his Instagram rubbish? I don't know.
Awful. And I'm like, who are you? The photos are crap. There's like 4 of them, and he's got the Shin Dig just in there. So couldn't relate to it more, mate. That's why, I mean, we are the Shin Dig podcast on Instagram. It still values and still works, but just wanted something that little bit shorter. Perhaps we'll all message him, shall we, Eirik? Be like, oi, sell this now. Like,
yeah.
Look him up, get all the name and address. Oi, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going down a tangent.
And is there a certain is there anything that has to what am I trying to say here? What do you have to do to get in Bashguardian is what I'm trying to say. Like, what do people, what sort of, it's new news, competitions? I know you do everything. What sort of things do you try and cover?
Yeah, I try to, like, the categories are like featured, so like anything that we produce, like unique content, which we try to do. It's hard. What's the criteria? It's like you have to be kind of relevant in some way. Yeah. It's like, I know Sergi Jongeras, he released a video, like long interview video. I'm not the guy that just feature a video and put out an article. So then I thought, maybe Sergi is relevant now. He's been injured, and then I just made a big interview with Sergi. So that was the way into that one. And then I have some contributors like Carol Servin. He's doing like the coach's corner thing, because she's really into the coaching part at the moment, and more like the trials specific coaching, which has been lacking. It's all been like weightlifting and stuff, and he's more like at the details when you're riding, So I think that's really interesting. And then you have Daniele Albano from Italy. He's working on a PhD in trials at the university and stuff like this.
What? Sorry, just stop there. He's working on a PhD in trials. Is that what you just said? I
think so. He's doing like scientific papers on vertical jumps and stuff, and it's actually coming in. He's having an article about handlebars, which is really interesting. I just have to put down the work and make the article.
That's awesome. Okay.
And also just like I want to cover racing, but I'm not sure at what kind of level I want to cover the racing, like local, regional, international, Yeah. So it's not been much racing lately, but I try to cover national championships if it's possible. But now there was like some Copa Catalana and Copa Osuna races in Barcelona. It's like, I feel it's slightly too regional, but all of the international riders are there, so I should have covered it. But I just
I see what you mean. So it's
motivation.
Not necessarily based on location, but based on the traction of the event. Like if there's many international riders, it's probably worth providing some.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get into the main issue after I've gone through the categories, because we cover like videos. So every time I see a video that kind of attracts my attention, I get in touch with the rider and I do an interview. And without an interview, I don't post the video. Yeah. So we always try to bring something extra. So every time I see a cool video, and that's why it's like I'm not too happy about releasing like the latest McCaskill video because it's impossible to get in touch with them, you know. So I can't
you need to
provide
bring
anything
something
extra
new to it.
So it's getting context to the video, basically. It's like, right, that's a great video. I want to find out a bit more about the rider, find out a bit more about the video. And like you say, you can't say with McCaskill, unless you can physically contact him, then that's kind of pointless. Yeah,
I see that.
And also I want every article on Bashguardian should provide some unique content always.
100%.
So it should never be like and
copy and paste just doesn't work. You can copy and paste.
Adding value that you can't get anywhere else. You can watch a video and you can make your own comments on it, but you are giving something else.
This is a really good example I want to touch on here, Eirik, where you did the Charlie Rolls video, right? But you did an interview with Charlie, and you touched on it perfectly. You were like, is there now hook gaps? And I was like, oh, of course, bringing something new. And now we were all talking about that. I wouldn't think about it until you made the article.
Hook to drop.
Yeah, but we all saw it. No, what I mean is we all saw it. We all were cool. That's new. That's great. And then the article kind of looked at it a new way, going, well, actually, is this a new type of discipline in trials? And it made me look at it a different way. Yeah, but that was the point where you brought something completely new to that video. It was amazing. It went sort of viral. It did. It was huge, viral enough to get a lot of plays. And
Charlie is the fanboy, you know, like all the articles on Bashguardian is about Charlie.
He's the only one I know.
He's been so relevant. Yeah?
He's wearing a Bashguardian t-shirt in our newest video.
Yeah,
did you notice that? Yeah, he's wearing a Bashguardian t-shirt. So when you get a chance,
I have to launch soon. Yeah, and also we want to do product news. Like every time the brands release new products, I want to do an article. But now we're going into the problem. The issue is that no brands sends me information. No organizers send me any information. No riders send me any information. So I have to dig everything up myself all the time. And it's kind of, I think, the mentality in trials that they don't know how news media work. They have no idea.
Yeah.
No, so they don't know how to write a press release. They don't know how to like approach.
Or even a case study to see like how, a case study to show how they did it necessarily.
Well, the first time you find about new products is when they go live on a website, and you just like if you had first glimpse of it, you could then sort of review it. It gives momentum for it to then to be released, like
I know it's a win-win,
yeah absolutely,
like the clean carbon handlebars. You see a few prototype images, then they're just sort of out there. You're like,
or that if you'd done an article before that, everyone would have been talking about it, and everyone's like, I can't wait till that comes out. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to. So
I know.
I think there's
that's
still room
what I'm
for
trying
that.
To achieve.
I think there's still room for that. I'd like to think that we ourselves, I'm hoping that we'll be able to provide some kind of exclusive content that's new and someone wants us to share it. And that's going to help bring a buzz about that particular item or product.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, by this being sort of raised here, and like you say, you raising it as well, it kind of gets manufacturers and some of the retailers a bit more open.
Yeah, come on, Clean. Send us your bars and stem combo. We'll test it out.
Because it must be frustrating, because you're kind of like knocking on the door and saying, "Any news yet?" And they're like, "No, go away."
I want to give you free publicity. You're not like, I'm not even asking you to pay people. They pay companies to do that.
Yeah.
There are people that will reach out and say, "I'm paying you to share my product," but you're being like, "I'll do it for free. Just give me the information."
Yeah. And I'm doing it from the journalistic perspective, so it's not like I'm not name dropping and promoting it. I'm just like from an objective point of view. And the thing is that people tell me like, I'm going to provide you photos, I'm going to provide you a write-up and stuff, and I'm still waiting like 3 months later and I still haven't got anything. And that's from big brands that's like they're one of the biggest brands in trials, and they still don't manage to do product activation. It's like magazines and newspapers are a part of the product activation, and you're missing out if you don't do it.
Absolutely. Part of its marketing, base, and because you have such a global reach, like it's the only one that does that, it's hopefully someone will recognize it and go, yeah.
And it's a synergy between like we need content and they need exposure. And it's like that in every other sport.
Yeah,
it's like
you can't lose.
It's just the most fun parts. Like when I was reading the magazines back in the days, it's like the product news pages was one of the most fun parts to read. Like, what's the next product? What's the next thing?
Well, that sort of goes on to, I was saying, what's next for Bashguardian, but it seems like we may have just touched a bit base on that. We need to get more products on the page. So any brands, manufacturers listening to this, get in touch. It's a great way for exposure. And to say the least, Eirik will do an amazing job.
It gives me confidence if I see that a manufacturer has got stuff coming. Yeah. Because you don't know how what that manufacturer is like. If they've just got a product already out there, you don't know if they're at the end of their life cycle, if that company is doing bad. If I see, we're working on this, that was what used to be so cool about Onza. They're like, we're working on this. You're like, oh, wow.
It's the same with
they're pushing the boat out. This is all going well,
I'm thinking like that, I'm name dropping here, but like Trial Tech, fantastic brand company. I'm actually now, and I'm like, what do they actually still make? Like, I don't know. Probably levers. Again, and that's the sort of thing I'd love it to cover. They'd be like, oh, this is new, this is what's coming out. I just feel like, we're very much left in the dark about when that sort of stuff comes out. So we'll make that happen. Let's try and improve it on that, because product reviews are really important. Oh, and Ian at Trial Shack has started doing that for trials. So we're slowly creating more traction here.
And also as well, we're creating more outlets for it. There's not necessarily been an outlet. So by having Bashguardian, by having Shin Dig, by having Trial Shack, all these places, it kind of puts that out there for these manufacturers.
I think did we freeze on you, Eirik, there?
Yeah, you're frozen, yeah.
Oh, God. There we go.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah,
we've got two things to cut out now.
And I think it's the same for like the sponsorship activations, like when riders and brands collaborate. I feel like Bashguardian should be like a part of the sponsorship activation, like put an article out like Matty joins the blah blah blah,
Yeah.
And it's fun to read, and it brings kind of like a momentum to the sport that brands want to put money into the sport, and
more traction.
And it gives relevance to the riders, the riders that gets an article about the new collaboration on Bashguardian. It gives momentum to them. They're relevant, and
collaboration is key. I don't know how many times I say that, but all the time. Especially in trials, collaboration is key. You always help each other out and push each other's.
I think we're getting there.
Let's go on. And also,
go on.
Yeah, I have one more thing on the Bashguardian side, and that is to kind of transcript some parts of the podcast. So when you have like a cool guy listening to the podcast, we could kind of extract out some key moments if you provide this.
Absolutely. You won't have to worry about contacting me and sending you stuff. That would be simple. But I like to think this podcast has started some form of collaboration with us, because we can definitely help each other out there. So
I definitely agree with that as well, because podcast is very long form content, and if you take a snippet out of it, that's much more digestible than having to sit down. There could be so much nuggets and gems in here.
Someone might read the article that we did with you, for example. And
a company might watch the beginning half of this podcast and go, we'll just turn it off now. And they missed the most important part, which could be this conversation about Bashguardian. So by having the nuggets and providing them over, definitely, man. We'd love to be able to help out there.
It's a smart move, Eirik. Smart move. So we'll definitely be working towards that. Now,
getting onto the gritty side.
Yeah, very
of
important
side.
Bashguardian
does that. Matt has alluded to me that because one of the questions we ask is best Shin Dig, right, or like your favourite Shin Dig. But Matt told me that you had a chin dig.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So how the hell?
I don't know if you still got it. You can see it there, but it's a bit of a scar. I'll put pictures up because they're not on my laptop here. They're on my phone. I was going to share them, but
tell the listeners a chin dig.
Eirik sent me, because I was asking. Eirik sent me a picture. Just no context. Goes, hey, you're the Shin Dig podcast now, right? And then took a major cut, like a proper deep cut at the bottom of his chin. And then the next picture's you in hospital on the bed. Looks like you're about to get stitches. And then the next picture is you with a head wrap around your face.
I know,
Can you go into the story of that Shin Dig?
Yeah, the funny part is that over the last years I had almost no shindigs. It's like my legs are kind of like white out of just scars. So I had so many shindigs over the years.
Yeah.
But lately I've been having most shindigs. So actually I have no beard on my left side here because of a shindig, like I think it was 3 years ago. Did like a paddle up to a rock, and then my rear wheel got stuck in a small rock I didn't see. So I just like face planted and broke some teeth. And then the other day, it's like 3 weeks ago, I think now, I was riding a new spot. I've been like looking around in the area, and I found like 3 or 4 natural places now. And I was riding for the first time on this location. It's kind of like a mellow place with round rocks. Yeah, very easy stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was, the dog and my girlfriend, they were with me at the place, and I was just like riding, chilled riding. And then she left, and she said like, "Don't get hurt." And then I'm doing like a pedal up, like a 3/4 one, you know, like
yeah,
half paddle, as we sometimes call it.
Yeah.
Up to a rock, I would say it's like 80 centimeters high. That's the rock. It's like a round rock. And I'm just going pedal up to 2 wheels. And somehow my rear wheel got stuck, or I miscalculated the paddling or whatever. So my front wheel goes like down in front of the rock. And I just land 100% on my chin. Like, and my jawbone, it feels like my jawbone kind of penetrated my ears. It got pushed so hard backwards. So I'm still having pain in my ears. And when I wake up in the morning and stuff, because I hit my eardrum and stuff like this so hard.
So sensitive.
But I think it's...
Mate, that sounds brutal. Like one of our worst ones. We'll put a picture up there to see it.
Like
the problem is the rock was so low, so you kind of fell downwards. So it would be less bad if I did like a 140 up the front, you know. That would be less bad because you have more room in the air, you know.
Don't do small moves, basically.
No,
that's screw around with small things.
Stick to the big stuff, mate. Well, and just so we've got really paint the picture, what pedals do you have? Are they cage pedals? Are they platform pedals?
Yeah, I run like normal single cage pedals. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that feels more severe. Like a cage pedal would be more severe than a platform, because the cage has so much more to go in. I feel like it go deeper.
Whereas what the hell are you doing here? But you're pointing to the chin.
I'm pointing to my chin because you're getting. What I was saying is it's definitely worse from a cage pedal, because I feel like it can go.
I don't know, but if you've got like a platform pedal, like if you maybe not just chin, but let's say cheek, right? Imagine a platform pedal like spanking you around the face. That'd be like a proper, like flat edge, like.
Oh, well, it's a world's first, Eirik. A Shin Dig.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to put things correctly here, I didn't hit my pedals in the chin. I hit the rock in my chin.
Okay, that sounds. I was thinking like that's pretty. Yeah,
we jumped ahead a bit there.
We jumped ahead, which I thought,
because that would be kind of weird if I landed with my chin down at my pedal.
That's what you was alluding to.
That's what I thought. I was like, did your pedal go like smack?
It's still gnarly either way, because you get obviously shindigs on walls, so chin dig on wall. Yeah, well, that's.
It's still it's a dig. It doesn't matter if it comes from your pedal or not. Anyway, but I thought it would be even cooler if it did.
Specific chin though.
And a friend of mine, the worst like kind of shindig he's ever had was when the slave cylinder just sliced up his leg. So just like the corner of the Magura caliper was kind of sharp, and he was pedaling, and he had like a slice this long just inside his leg.
Oh, it's like a clean
along
cut.
the shin.
Could you imagine? Yeah, that's like.
Yeah, it was like surgical. It was like 12, 15 stitches or whatever. It was a big one.
And how about yourself? What's the worst shindig for you? You said you didn't get too many now.
Yeah, like I remember one time I had one really bad at La Poma in Barcelona, and I was doing the BMX course on the trial bike. I remember that one. That was a really bad one.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Nose dived over the entire jump, and I brought this normal, like this anti-back, the one you use all the time now.
Yep.
And I had to like clean my wound with this one, and it hurt so bad. Because at La Poma it's like this red orange dirt.
Yeah, I've only seen it from videos. We will ride there one day. We will.
My wound was just full of this orange dirt.
Oh, that must have been disgusting as well. It's just one of those like, that's definitely.
You don't want to touch it because usually you don't want to touch it. You want to just cover it over and be like, I'll figure that out later. But at that time, you need to get that all cleaned out. Oh, grim, man.
Well, we'll move on from the grimmer stuff, you injuring yourself, something onto a bit more positive in the quick fire round.
The fun stuff, the favourite stuff.
So, first question of the quick fire round. I haven't forgotten it. Your favourite spot, Eirik? Where's your favourite spot to ride? You can go anywhere in the world.
Right now, it's the local trials park because I'm working on it every day almost, like putting new obstacles and fixing it. So it's so much fun at the moment. Nice. But I really like a good natural place, and I used to have one really good one in Oslo. I was riding several times a week, and I kind of missed that place because I've been like scouting around in the area, and I haven't found a place that has this kind of mixture between run-ups and static moves and all of that in one place. And I've been to places, around in Europe, and I've never found a better place, I think, than that one.
Oh, that's good to
know.
And
the home spot, there's something about the home spot because you know all the lines. You can always find a line that you practiced like last year, and you know all the like small knobs and small like secrets to do stuff. So the home spot is always the best one.
Technical.
So you're at your home spot. Who would you be riding with? Who pushes you to go further?
Who's inspiring you?
Yeah, that's the hard one because I feel like when you ride with people that's way more explosive than myself, it's kind of depressing. And I have like some riders I can ride with sometimes that just like they can do like 160 side ups and stuff like this, and it's depressing. But at the same time, the same riders, you can find some technical difficulties and push each other. And then I really liked riding with some of the local Norwegian riders. We can just like push each other for hours and find lines, technical, sketchy lines for hours.
Yeah, multiple heads are better than one, whether that be for getting something done or just finding spots. So I can relate to that. What's your favourite move then that day? So you're in your local spot, you've got your local riders. What is that one move that really gets you buzzed and gets you happy?
I am the gap to front guy and the pedal up the front guy, and I do everything to front. And it's like at the spot now, it's a lot of run-ups, like all this like rocks separated by a couple of meters, and I do a lot of run-ups, like not like typical like UCI World Cup run-ups to two wheels to a hook and stuff like this. But what I like the most is to do a gap to front. Yeah, like a square gap to front.
None of this round stuff, nice solid square edge. Sending it, diving forward is something element of kind of, it's pretty scary. Gaps to front.
I suppose there's a lot of things as well. Like you gap to front, then you got there's the switch. There's just a lot of elements to make up a good gap to front, I suppose.
The buzz you get when you feel the gap is so long that you're not sure if the front wheel is going to get there.
I know that feeling when you. This is how it still happens, because you'd be like, Matt, you gonna try that to front?
Well, most of the time, Matt's front wheel doesn't get there.
No, but that's how I found out my limit. Look at if you referring back to the Leicester vlog video, there was a gap to front, and I was like, I think I can do that. A gap to front in midair, thinking, nah, it's too far away. In midair. So if you don't know what that means, go to our Leicester video on YouTube, and you'll see me, face plant concrete, because I was trying to beat Eirik, go massive.
And I love the videos, by the way. I've seen most of the like street meetup videos, and you bring the vibe. It's exactly
That's what we're trying to do, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah. It's open to everyone, any rider, big or small. everyone's welcome. We want to get the vibes.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get maybe over to Norway and ride your spot with you and do a video there. You know, that's
and
that's
also with Steve planning like the UK road trip thing that got cancelled last year.
Yeah.
When Steve went to Norway in 2019, I think he went to Norway and he was part of the Extreme Sports Week, and we got this idea that we should do this road trip in the UK, and he almost pulled it off, but I hope he can pull it off this year or next year, because
he's still got the website, I'm sure.
It's still there, yeah. It is going to happen because everything was
UK
put into
Trials
place.
Tour.
Yeah, everything was put into place. And
This is another. I thought we got through a whole episode about saying Steve, and Eirik ruined it right at the last minute.
We are almost. Maya's going to find this hilarious.
Steve's
as well.
girlfriend listens to these episodes with him, and then basically just waiting for his name to be said. So thanks, Eirik. We've done it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good to know, mate. And hopefully we'll see you over this way to ride your bike very soon too. We've welcomed you to our house here. We have plenty of space for you, mate. You know you're welcome.
Cheers.
We
The
wanna
door
get
is
over.
always open.
We are only less than an hour from Charlie's. We're 40 minutes from Radical Bikes, so we are in the best position to get to the UK parks for yourself. So, and just be nice for us to catch up again, mate, and share a drink and have a good laugh. So, yeah, that'd be cool. I can't remember that. When was the last time we saw each other? Italy, I think. And was it in Italy? Were you there in Italy?
Italy.
You didn't.
Was
Did
that
you compete?
before or after the trials battle in London? Was that before or after?
That was after the trials battle in London, because I saw you then, and then the
yeah,
Worlds.
maybe
Right?
like
Italy, October 2019.
in Tuscany or something.
That's
yeah?
it.
El Choco, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, El Choco. Yeah,
That was I think that was the last time we actually we got to hang out. So you probably
was
did
my
meet
last
him there,
competition.
just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like
So many fun riders there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As there a couple final questions. Firstly, who would you want to see on the podcast? Who do you want to get on?
I should get Hans Ray.
Hans Ray,
Oh,
cool. That's
yeah,
another
Hans Ray.
tick next to his name. It's
That's a
tallying up.
Big
up.
name, yeah. That
Yeah.
is.
And finally, what have you got a message?
Just a final message for all the trials riders of the world.
You know.
Stop wearing shin protectors.
Hey! Not that we condone anyone. If you want to, that is of course.
If you're just starting
Safety.
out, then yeah, good idea to wear them. But you know,
it won't protect you from damaging your knee though. In
Or
some
your
recent
chin.
videos,
And your back.
and your
Yeah.
back, yeah, or your chin, yeah.
Also, stop wearing chin protectors, like these helmets with protection gear.
To start, so we start wearing full faces soon, won't we?
yeah.
Imagine that being a thing.
Some
That would be
riders
horrible.
do, yeah.
No,
And back protectors. Stop wearing all protections.
yeah, I don't know.
But the helmet, use a helmet.
Yeah, helmet is a must. We always say that. No, if you don't wear a helmet, you're just not cool.
You're not a trials rider.
You're not a
really,
trials rider either. You're just not cool.
If you
so-
don't wear a helmet, you're stupid, or you're going to become stupid.
Yeah, or you are a helmet. Like you are the helmet yourself. So, mate, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
today,
again,
Eirik.
man.
Guys, make sure you can go and follow
Thanks for
Eirik
having me. Yeah,
on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle for the listeners?
Eirik Trials. Everything Eirik Trials.
It's so easy.
EirikTrials.com, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
And Bashguardian, you can be found on his Instagram there, or Bashguardians on Instagram as well. Make sure you give them a follow to keep up with all the news and whatnot. And yeah, thanks again. We've been the Shin Dig podcast. I've been Matt Pengelly.
I've been Tom Hutley. Tune into us, new episodes every single Friday, and semi-regular media over on our YouTube channel. Thank you once again for watching.
And also the merchandise is live.
Yeah,
Go.
shindigmedia.com.
Shindigmedia.com right now, and you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy stickers, you can buy all sorts, hats, and we'll be putting more and more stuff on there as we go along.
Fun goodies.
Awesome. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.